Football betting strategies that actually work are quite rare, but in this video I'm revealing not one, but 3 powerful strategies that have been proven to cut through emotional market reactions, capitalise on gameplay, and exploit hidden shifts that many don't even realise are there. Each strategy is logical with a defined advantage, as you'll see in just a second. So there's no guesswork, no gimmicks, just actionable steps that anyone can apply instantly. So stick with me as I break down exactly how these strategies work, where to use them, and how to execute and manage their advantage. So if you find this video useful, please don't forget to tap the subscribe button down below. So this first approach is perfect for those high stakes moments when emotions are running high and the market reacts dramatically to events that may not have a lasting impact on the game. So imagine this, a team scores a sudden goal and within seconds the market reacts as bettors rush around to adjust their positions. Now this wave of activity creates a brief window where with the right timing you can actually bet with minimal risk and then cash out for a quick, profitable, low risk correction. Now the strategy itself minimises risk whilst offering a profit because we're betting during an artificial price movement, not a true shift in the game's fundamentals. Now as the game continues, the score alone doesn't dictate everything. Players, strategies, fatigue and match tempo play a huge role, which usually balance out these reactions. Now when you take advantage of this correction, you're aligning with the natural ebb and flow of a game, rather than making a highly speculative short-term emotional bet. Now I'll show you an example where you can spot these opportunities, but so everyone will understand, I need to make a brief distinction. To do this, you need to use a betting exchange because soft bookmakers like Bet365 have such huge margins built into their betting odds. Now for those unaware, a betting exchange allows users to bet against each other with no margin factored into those odds. Instead of offering poor prices, they make their money by taking a small commission on winning bets only. So to them, it doesn't matter what the price is or if you've got a winning strategy. It's also why they don't ban or restrict winning accounts. Now in this instance, I'll be using BettingAsia's SharpX exchange for the examples. Always check the relevant terms and regulations where you are. Now this strategy is reliable because in football betting, there's always a mix of rational and emotional bettors, especially when it comes to in-play betting. For a lot of people, tensions are high and emotion is at its peak. If you've ever chased a loss, you'll know exactly what I mean. Now players tend to overreact to high impact events like a sudden goal or a star player being subbed off. Now market psychology plays a huge role here because many bettors subconsciously assume that a goal instantly shifts a team's chance of winning. Some rush in to place a bet immediately, whereas others cash out. However, temporarily, this doesn't reflect the game's actual flow. By understanding these irrational moments of overreaction, we can then take advantage of biases in the betting. Now placing a well-timed bet offers us a low risk, high reward opportunity. I'll show you how to capitalise on it in just a second, but first, where and when is the best place to do this? Sharp sudden odds changes, especially after impactful moments like a goal, substitution or red card, will always be the best place for it, especially when there's more of a shock for those who are watching. For instance, when the underdog scores first, the market tends to overestimate their chances of holding on to that lead even more than if the favourite team scores. The match odds and under-over goals markets are the most profitable because there's so much more money passing through them. Now personally, I like 2.5 goals market as statistically most games finish around that scoreline. The odds range that we use this betting strategy at doesn't really matter though. Instead, we want to get a bet on at the market's peak reaction before the price then naturally corrects itself back to where it should be. Okay, so let's look at some practical execution here on the screen. With this strategy, we're looking to lay the team that just scored, just after the betting market overreacts. In simple terms, laying means betting against the team. In this case, the team that just scored. So if they don't win, you profit. The lay bet box on SharpX is here in pink. Now, the key here is timing. Just look at this chart. After a goal went in, the price overreacts. It peaks here, which is where the strategy kicks in with the initial lay bet. Within 20 to 30 seconds or so after the overreaction has peaked, the betting market begins to correct itself back. By entering at this peak reaction, we've locked in some value here because one of two things can happen. Either A, we cash out our lay bet to lock in a really low risk profit in seconds, or B, we can hold on to it for a moment to see if there's an aggressive counterattack from the opposing team, because if there is, the in-play betting price will move further in our favour, giving us a bigger cash out figure. In the absolute best case, the opposing team counter and score, and if that happens, we're looking at a huge profit because the price will go all the way back to where it was prior to the very first goal. And let's be honest, those counterattacks do happen pretty regular. By leveraging this moment of overreaction, we're grabbing some value and giving ourselves an opportunity to win bigger whilst minimising the risk. This is what all good actionable strategy is all about, just like the second strategy I'll share just now. Now, if you're finding this useful, please don't forget to subscribe for future strategy uploads. In-play betting markets reflect the real-time dynamics of the match. If you've ever looked at the price history as a match goes on, you'll know what I mean. As the clock ticks down towards the end of a match, betting odds contract or lengthen in line with the expected result. As the match goes on, this is known as time decay. It's a data pattern that happens in every match. In the second half of a match, time decay accelerates. You'll see why that's significant in just a second. For this strategy, in-play game analysis, betting market psychology and time decay work hand in hand to help us secure a profitable advantage. It focuses on low action moments where the team's holding possession, playing conservatively, and no goals are likely to be scored. We must avoid betting markets where the match is competitive or both teams are taking risks on the pitch. I'll break down the best place to use it shortly, but once we've identified our safest area, it's time to execute. We place a back bet or lay bet in line with the current outcome. So for example, if we're betting on the under over 2.5 goals market and there's currently only one goal, we place a back bet that there will be under 2.5 goals. Now, as time passes, the chance of our bet winning increases, so the betting odds have to shorten, with the decay working in our favour. But there's a potential problem here, because if a key player is injured or there's a sudden tactical shift, the price action may stall. Absolutely worst case, if there's a shot goal, the price will move against us. So the aim here is to exploit the in-play cash out for a profit whilst either the play is extremely dull or there's clearly no motivation on pitch to score. Key indicators include frequent back passing, limited movement in the final third, and teams being content to play out the clock. I'm sure you've seen this happen before because these conditions are common in the late stages of the first half, especially when one team is protecting a lead. Now, a top tip is to keep an eye on possession percentages when one team is controlling the game without launching an attack. Now, in the second half, in-play price decay happens faster, so it's possible to make more quicker. As long as you stay aware of the game's pace and watch for shifts, this is one of the most dependable ways to profit from time decay. Using this strategy, you're not just betting on the game, you're betting on the natural erosion of a goal's probability. It's a disciplined way to profit from in-play betting without getting caught up in the hype of sudden market shifts. Now finally, the third and lowest risk betting strategy of all. In fact, in some situations, there's barely any risk at all. And you can use very large stakes, because by keeping one step ahead of the broader public, we can capitalise on valuable information as it develops. Huge professional gamblers like Tony Bloom focus on this sort of thing because effectively we're betting on immediate factual changes rather than speculative opinion. We're not trying to predict what might happen, but rather reacting to a linked interest that already has. This works because thousands of football betting markets are linked by probability. For instance, if a star player is suddenly subbed out due to injury, this will impact not just the match odds, but linked betting markets such as next week's match. Similarly, tactical adjustments, red cards, or critical fouls influence multiple bets at the same time. By being quick to act on the most recent news, our strategy locks in a profit before the entire marketplace has caught on. However, to make this work, we need to be waiting in anticipation. For example, if a primary goal scorer is badly injured during a match this week, then the odds for next week's match needs to adjust too. Now typically, there's a short window before these effects are fully priced into every related market. The most extreme example I can think of is when Christian Eriksen had a heart attack on pitch. Once again, timing is everything. By placing your bets in these secondary markets, as soon as the change occurs, you're often ahead of the crowd. Another great exploit is team news. When the starting lineup for a match is released, it can have a huge impact on the odds. To get a value bet with this strategy, all you need to do is react quickly and then cash out once the price has corrected. Now, if that was too much and you want a far simpler strategy to follow, then check out this video here in the end screen after you've subscribed. Thanks for watching.